Hello everyone and welcome to the chapter number 37 of Blender Master Course Geometry Nodes Creating a Donut. In this chapter we'll be covering all these topics in complete detail and we'll be using these geometry nodes to create this donut. And yes, if you are new to this course then do check out the previous 37 chapters from the link of the playlist in the pinned comment. So to begin with, we'll be adding a curve in our scene. So first let's delete this cube by pressing X, and to add the curve press Shift plus A, go to curve and select the Bezier curve. Now since we'll be making the donut with the help of geometry nodes, so let's also go to the Geometry Nodes workspace. For this, click on the workspace named as Geometry Nodes here, and to add a new geometry node, click on this new button. Now the first node that we are going to discover is the Set Spline Cyclic node. To add it here, press Shift plus A, go to curve, and in the right category, here we have the Set Spline Cyclic. So I'll select it and let's place it over here. Let's also go to the top view by pressing 7 on the numpad, and now what this Set Spline Cyclic node does is that it will make the curve cyclic by connecting the two ends of the curve together, meaning that this node will connect this end point of the curve to the first point here, and this can be done by turning on the cyclic option here. So if I turn it on, then now our curve is looking cyclic because it has joined the two endpoints together. Now the benefit of this node is that if I tab into the edit mode and select the draw tool from here, and to draw the curve I simply have to left click and drag my cursor like this, and you can see here that it will automatically make the curve cyclic. So if I turn it off, then you can see here how the original curves look, and by using the cyclic option the curves will get completed, and as a result they look cyclic. And now we'll be using this node to create the cyclic structure of a donut. For this, tab into the edit mode, press A to select all these points, and we'll delete them and create a new cyclic curve. So press X and select delete segments. Now let's draw the curve to be used as the donut. Let's come out of the edit mode, and you can see here that we have a simple basic structure in the form of a curve ready for the donut. Now in order to make it look like a real donut, we have to convert this curve into a mesh, and for this we'll be using the curve to mesh node. To add it here, press Shift plus A, go to curve, and in operations select the curve to mesh. Let's place it over here. Now since here we have a cyclic curve, so we'll be connecting this profile curve socket to a curve circle. To do this, press Shift plus A, go to curve, and in primitives select the curve circle. Let's place it over here and connect it to the profile curve. And now here you can see that we have a structure which slightly looks like a donut. In order to make it perfect, I'll go to the curve circle node and reduce the radius from here. Now if you think that it looks oval, then you can tab into the edit mode and we'll scale it up in the Y axis. So press S and Y, and let's slightly scale it up like this. Let's come out of the edit mode. Let's also slightly increase the radius from here, and this is how it looks. Now moving ahead, let's also add the frosting at the top, and for this we'll be using the extrude mesh node. So press Shift plus A, go to mesh, and in operations select the extrude mesh. Let's place it over here. Now it's extruding all the faces individually, and to fix this I'll first turn off the individual option, and to extrude only the face at the top we'll be using the compare node. To add it here, press Shift plus A, go to utilities, and in math select the compare node. Let's place it over here, and we'll be using this to tell the extrude mesh node that we want the extrusion to be applied only on the top faces, and for this we'll be using the normal node, and that's because we know that the normal for the top, or basically the perpendicular to it, will be in the positive Z axis. And to do this, first I'll change the input type from float to vector. Let's also change the operation to equal. Now in the vector A, I'll be connecting the normal node, so press Shift plus A, go to geometry, and in read select the normal. Let's place it over here and connect it to the vector A. And now we'll be using the values in the vector B in order to make it equal to the normal node. The first value will control the X axis, second will control the Y axis, and the third will control the Z axis. And since the normal of these top faces lies in the positive Z direction, so we'll be changing the value of B in the Z axis as positive 1. Now if I connect the result socket to the selection, then you see that nothing happens, and that's because you have to control the area where the extrusion is to be applied with the help of this epsilon option here. To increase it slightly, hold down the shift button, left click, and if I drag my cursor like this, you will notice that the extrusion is being applied to certain part of the top. And to increase this area, I'll go to the epsilon option again, and if I slightly increase it, then the area to be extruded will increase like this. And to reduce the extrusion, go to the offset option here and reduce it like this. Let's further increase the epsilon value from here so that it actually looks like the frosting of a donut. So let's increase it like this, and let's keep the value to that point where the structure actually looks like a donut. So this epsilon value will basically control the area to be extruded, and the offset value will control the extrusion of that area. Also to make it look better, I'll reduce the resolution from here from 32 to something like 16, And now this is how our donut is looking right now. And here I think that the extrusion at the top face is a little high, so I'll reduce it from here, and at a value of somewhere near 0.1, the extrusion looks fine. Now in order to add some sprinkles to it, we'll be using the distribute points on faces node. To add it here, press Shift plus A, go to point and select the distribute points on faces. Let's place it over here, and now this will distribute these points over the different faces of the donut that we created. In order to view both the donut and these points, we'll be adding a join geometry node here. So press Shift plus A, go to geometry and select the join geometry. Let's place it over here, and to view the donut, take the mesh socket of the extrude mesh and connect it to the geometry in the join geometry. And this is how it looks. Now if you want to make your donut look better and more smooth, then for this you can use the subdivision surface node. To add it here, press Shift plus A, go to mesh and in operations, select the subdivision surface. We'll place it in between the extrude mesh and the join geometry node. And now the subdivision is applied to this donut. Now here you can see that these points are distributed all over the donut, but we wanted them to appear only on this extruded part. And for this, we'll be using the same result socket that we connected to the extrude mesh in order to extrude this part, and we'll connect it to the selection socket of the distribute points on faces. And now the points will be distributed only on the extruded part. Now one more thing to notice here is that the things that are distributed on this extruded face are simply these points but not sprinkles. And to replace these points with the sprinkles, we need to add the instance on points node after the distribute points on faces node. So press Shift plus A, go to instances and select the instance on points. Let's place it over here. And yes, if you want to know about these two nodes and their functioning in complete detail, then you can check the previous chapters of the course where we discussed about both of these geometry nodes in complete detail. But for now, I'll be using this instance on points node in order to place the sprinkles on this extruded part. But before that, we also need to model the sprinkles. For this, in the 3D viewport, press Shift plus A, go to mesh and add a cylinder. Let's move it in the X direction by pressing G and X, and let's place it over here. Tab into the edit mode, and now to make it look like a sprinkle, first I'll scale it up in the Z direction. So press S and Z and scale it up like this. Now we'll be applying the subdivision surface modifier to it. For this, go to the modify properties, click on add modifier, and in generate, select the subdivision surface. Let's increase the levels viewport to a value of 2. Now, in order to make this pointing part flat at the top and the bottom, enable the face mode by pressing 3, select the top face and press I to inset it. Let's bring it down, and now here the inset is applied. Similarly, I'll select the face at the bottom and press I to inset, and now this is how it looks. Now since we are making a sprinkle, so we need to reduce its thickness, or basically the scaling, in the X and Y axis. To do this, press A to select all, then S to scale, and to apply the scaling in the X and Y axis simultaneously, press Shift plus Z. Let's scale it down like this and left click to finalize. Let's come out of the edit mode, and now our sprinkle is ready. And to distribute these sprinkles over the extruded face of the donut, we need to select the donut. We have to connect the sprinkle to the instance option here. For this, I'll go to the scene collection, left click on the cylinder object, or basically the sprinkle, and if I drag it into the geometry nodes editor and drop it here, the object info node is created with the cylinder selected here. Now I'll take this geometry socket and connect it to the instance, and here the sprinkles are placed at different faces on the top of the donut. However, we need to reduce their scaling from the scale option here. So let's select the scaling in the X, Y and Z axis, and let's reduce it to a very low value like 0.1, and this is how it looks. Now in order to rotate them, I'll first select the cylinder, or basically this main sprinkle object, and we'll be rotating it. So with the cylinder selected, tab into the edit mode, press R and X to rotate it in the X axis like this, and to rotate it by 90 degrees, press 90 and enter to confirm. Now just like this main sprinkle, these other sprinkles on the donut are also rotated in the X axis by 90 degrees. Now even though the basic rotation looks good in the X axis, but another thing to notice here is that all of these sprinkles are having the same rotation. But to make it look realistic, let's give each of them a random rotation. So let's come out of the edit mode, select the donut, and to give the sprinkles a random rotation, we'll be connecting this rotation socket to the random value node. So press Shift plus A, go to utilities and select the random value. Let's place it over here and change the data type to vector. Now take this value socket and connect it to the rotation, and now you will notice that these sprinkles are now rotated randomly. And if you want to control this rotation, you can try to change the maximum value in the random node. For example, if I try to change the maximum value in the Z axis, then you can see that the randomness of the rotation in the Z axis will change like this. Similarly, I can do the same with the X axis and also the Y axis. And yes, if you want to increase the number of these sprinkles, then you can go to the density option here, and if I increase it, the number of sprinkles will increase like this. Also, I think that I should increase their scaling in order to make them look thicker. So I'll go to the scale option here, select all the three, and let's increase it to a slightly higher number like 0.12, and now it is looking perfect. And yes, with this our structure of donut is ready now. But let me show you one more thing. If I select the donut, go to the top view by pressing 7 on the numpad, and also go to the edit mode, then with the draw tool selected, if I draw a curve like this, then it will automatically create a donut out of it. Similarly, I can create any number of donuts by simply making a curve like this. And see, that's the benefit of using the geometry nodes. Even though the geometry nodes look complex to understand in the starting, but if you master them completely, then they're really very helpful and can save a lot of time if you want to create different objects. Also, since we have used the set spline cyclic node here, which makes any curve cyclic, so I don't need to draw the entire circle and close it. I can simply draw a curve like this and it will automatically join the two endpoints together. And now I'll be keeping these two donuts in my scene and will delete the other ones. For this, click on the select tool, left click and drag like this, and to select the other one, hold on the shift button, left click and drag like this. Now all the points on the two donuts are selected, and to delete them, press X and select delete segments. Let's come out of the edit mode, and now the next topic for today's chapter is understanding the realize instances node. So what it basically does is that it helps to convert the duplicate objects into separate geometries. For example, the sprinkles that are placed on this donut are simply the instances that are placed on different points. And to confirm this, you can go to the spreadsheet, and in the instances option here, you can see that we have 490 instances, and these are basically these sprinkles that are distributed over the top of the donut. However, to convert them into different geometries, we have to use the realization instances node, and using this node is also important in order to assign different colors to these sprinkles. So to add it, press shift plus A, go to instances, and here you have the realize instances node. So I'll select this, place it over here, and now it's connected, but you won't see any difference here. However, if I go to the spreadsheet, then now in the instances you can see that there are 0 instances, and that's because all these sprinkles, which were the instances, are now converted into separate geometries. Now in order to give different colors to the sprinkles here, we have to use a new node, which is the store named attribute node. To add it here, press shift plus A, go to attribute and select the store named attribute. Let's place it here for now. Now this node is basically used to capture some attribute and store it with a name, which you can then use somewhere else in the program. If you remember, in one of the previous chapters, we studied about the capture attribute node, and it's exactly similar to the store named attribute node, except for the fact that this node is having the name option here. To understand it better, let's first place it after the instance on points, and since we'll be using it to give different colors to the sprinkles, so we'll change the data type from float to color. And since we have connected it to the instance on points, we'll also change the domain from point to instance. Now if you want your sprinkles to have random colors assigned to them, then for this we have to connect the random value node to the value socket here. To do this, press shift plus A, go to utilities and select the random value. Let's place it here. Let's also change the data type to vector and connect it to the value socket here. Now you also have the name option here in order to save this attribute with a name. So if I left click on it, I can assign any name to it. So for now, I'll keep the name to color, and now it is saved with the name color. Now to give these sprinkles some material, I'll change this to the shader editor. So click on this icon and select the shader editor. To give it a new material, click on the new button. Now to give some colors to the sprinkles, let's add the color ramp. So press shift plus A, go to converter, select the color ramp. Let's place it over here and connect it to the base color in the principal BSDF. So we'll be using this color ramp node to assign different colors to the sprinkles here. Also, we'll change the interpolation from linear to constant so that we can add different colors here without blending them with each other. Now to view the colors of the material, let's go to the render preview mode. Now to apply the colors on the sprinkle, we need to add the attribute node here with the name that we assigned in this node. To do this, press shift plus A, go to input, and from here, select the attribute. Let's place it over here. Now in the name option, we'll type color, and this is the same name which we assigned to the attribute in this node. And now to connect it with the color ramp, I'll take this color socket and connect it to the factor. And to view the changes here, we need to use the set material node in the geometry nodes editor. So press shift plus A, go to material and select the set material node, and we'll place it after the realize instances. And from here, I'll select the material.001, and with this you can also see that the sprinkles are now assigned the material.001, and so they appear to be black colored. Now to get different colors here, we have to use the pointers in the color ramp. For example, if I move this white pointer, then now here we have some black sprinkles as well as some white sprinkles. You can even add some more colors to it by clicking on this plus icon. Let's change the color from here by increasing the brightness, and let's assign it yellow color. Similarly, let's add one more color and change it from here, increase the brightness, and this time I'll change it to pink color. Also, I'll change the color of this first pointer because we won't need any black sprinkles on the donut. So I'll select it and change the color by increasing the brightness, and for this one, let's change the color to green. And to see all the colors properly, we have to adjust the pointers at different positions. The amount of sprinkles having a particular color will depend on the position of these pointers. For example, here you can see that most of the part is yellow colored, and as a result, most of the sprinkles in the donut are also yellow. So to get a uniform distribution of colors, we have to adjust these pointers properly And if you want, you can even create more colors by clicking on this plus button and changing the color from here. Let's give it the red color, and now this is how the sprinkles are looking on our donut. Now to create the chocolate material to be placed on the top of the donut, let's go to the material properties, click on the plus button and go for new material. Let's change the name of this material to chocolate. Similarly, for the sprinkles material, let's also rename it to sprinkles, and now we have two materials in the material properties. One of them is the sprinkles and the other one is the chocolate material. Now let's go to the shader editor, and in the principal BSDF, we have to change the base color to make it look like the chocolate color. And for doing this perfectly, we'll use the hex code of chocolate. So I searched it up on Google and this result came up. So we'll change the hex code to the hex code of chocolate, which is 411900. And now in the base color, you can see we have the chocolate brown color. And now to set this chocolate material to our donut, we'll be using the set material node. For this, I'll select the set material node and create a duplicate of it. So press Shift plus D and place it after the subdivision surface node. It appears like this because we need to change the material from sprinkles to chocolate. And now this is how our donut is looking right now. We have these colorful sprinkles distributed over the top and this simple chocolate material applied on the donut object. Now although our donut is almost ready, we can do some more changes in it. For example, it might be possible that you want that only the top extruded layer where the sprinkles are placed should have the chocolate material and not the remaining part. And to do this, we'll create another material for the base of the donut. So go to the material properties, click on the plus icon and let's create a new material. We'll rename it to donut, and for now, I'll keep the base color to white and we'll work on applying this material only to the base of the donut. For this, we need to create a duplicate of the set material node and add the donut material to it. So press Shift plus D and place it over here. Change the material from chocolate to donut. But here you will observe that since this set material node with the donut is placed after the set material node with the chocolate material, as a result, the entire donut, including the top extruded face, is now having the white donut material. But in order to assign the chocolate material to the top extruded face of the donut, we need to tell this node to apply the material only on that specific part. And if you remember, we used this compare node with the normal selected, which carried the information about the extruded top face. So if I take the result socket and connect it to the selection here, you will observe that nothing happens. And that is because, as I already told you, that since we have placed this set material node with the donut after the chocolate material, so only this node with the donut will be considered. And to fix this problem, we basically need to place this set material node after this one. And to do this, let's first remove it from the node connection. So hold down the Alt key, and if I left click and drag my cursor like this, then the node will get removed. And now we'll place it after this set material node with the donut material. So let's select it and place it over here. Again, take the result socket and connect it to the selection socket. And now here you can see that the chocolate material is now applied only to the top of the donut. However, you can see here that the material is not perfectly placed. Like in this area, you have the chocolate material, but it's not present in the remaining area. And to fix this problem, we simply have to go to the epsilon value here and we have to slightly increase it. So we'll increase it slightly like this, and at a value of somewhere near 0.75 or 0.8, our donut looks perfect. So let's finalize this. And now we should also reduce the size of the sprinkles because they appear to be too large on the top of the donut. For this, I'll select the cylinder, tab into the edit mode, and let's scale it down in the Y axis by pressing S and Y and scale it down like this. And if you want to make the sprinkles thicker, then for this, press S and Shift plus Z to restrict the scaling only in the X and Y axis. And now you can change the scaling to increase or decrease the thickness of the sprinkles. For now, let's finalize this and come out of the edit mode. Now moving ahead, in order to give this chocolate a realistic look, we'll go to the shader editor, change the material from donut to chocolate, and we'll be using the noise texture with the bump node. To add the bump node, press Shift plus A, go to vector and select the bump node. Let's place it over here and connect the normal to the normal in the principal BSDF. And now to add the noise texture, press Shift plus A, go to texture and select the noise texture. Let's place it over here, and to connect it with the bump node, take the factor socket and connect it to the height. And now this chocolate material is having this noise texture, real melted chocolate. Now to connect the noise texture to the input and the mapping node, press Ctrl plus T, and in the input node, or basically this texture coordinate node, take this object socket and connect it to the vector. And now this is how the chocolate material looks now. You can change its appearance from the scale value here. So for now, I'll reduce it to something like 1.5 or 2. And if you want to control the bump effect applied to it, then for this you can go to the bump node and change the strength from here. For now, I'll keep it to 0.5, and this is how it looks. Now moving ahead, suppose you want the chocolate material to cover more area of the donut, or maybe this inner area of the donut. And to do this, you have to go to the compare node here and try to change the values of the vector B in the X and Y axis. For example, if I change both the values to a slightly higher number like 0.1, then now the area on which this chocolate material is applied will increase. And with this, our chocolate material is completely ready, and before moving towards the creation of the material for the rest of the donut, let's first improve the lighting in our scene. So for this, I'll select this lamp and change the type of light from point to sun. Let's reduce its strength to something like 5 or 10, and now we have a proper lighting in our scene. Now to make the donut material, I'll go to the shader editor, change the material from chocolate to donut, and to give it some color, we'll be adding the color ramp. So press Shift plus A, go to converter and select the color ramp. Let's place it over here and connect it to the base color. Now in order to create a color which resembles the donut, we have to use a combination of orange and yellow color. So I'll change the first color by increasing the brightness, and I'll change it to orange color, and for the second color, I'll select it and change it to a mix of orange and yellow color. If you want, you can even make the color look darker by reducing the brightness from here. And now it looks like this. Now to give it some simple texture, we'll be adding the bump node and the noise texture. To add the noise texture, press Shift plus A, go to texture and select the noise texture. Let's place it over here. Press Ctrl plus T to connect it with the mapping and the texture coordinate node. Connect the object to the vector socket, and to view the texture, take this factor socket and connect it to the factor in the color ramp. And now to give the texture a more 3D look, we'll add the bump node. So press Shift plus A, go to vector and select the bump node. Let's place it over here and connect the normal to the normal in the principal BSDF. Then to connect it to the texture, take this factor socket and connect it to the height. And now this is how the texture of the donut looks. Let's reduce the bump effect from the strength option here to something like 0.1, or maybe to a much lower number like 0.02 or 0.01, and this is how the base of the donut looks now. And also if you want, you can make it look shinier by reducing the roughness in the principal BSDF. So if I reduce it to a lower value like 0.2, the roughness of the donut will reduce, giving it a shiny or a smooth look. And with this, our donuts are completely ready. And the best part about creating donuts procedurally with these geometry nodes is that I can simply go to the edit mode, and with this draw tool enabled, if I draw a curve like this, then it will automatically convert it into a donut. So you can create any number of donuts with different sizes simply by drawing them in the edit mode. But for now, to finalize this scene, we'll be keeping only 2 donuts. And to delete the rest of them, let's first change the mode to solid mode so that we can see the points properly. Turn off the draw tool by clicking on the selection tool, and with this one selected, I'll also be deleting this donut in the scene. So hold down the shift button, left click and drag like this, press X to delete and select delete segments. Now I have to select the best 2 out of the remaining 3, so I'll go to the render view again. Let's change the view to see them properly, and I think that I should delete this one because its shape is not perfectly circular. So let's go to the top view again, switch to the solid mode, select these vertices and press X to delete segments. Now to finalize the scene, we'll be placing one donut in such a position that it looks inclined towards the first one. And to do this, we have to select the points of one of the donuts and let's rotate it in the Y axis. So press R and Y and rotate it like this, and to place it perfectly, let's go to the front view, press G to move it and place it over here. And now we have both the donuts perfectly placed in our scene. Let's come out of the edit mode. Let's also turn on the render view. Now let's create the base with the help of the plane. So press Shift plus A, go to mesh and select the plane, tab into the edit mode, press A to select all the vertices and S to scale it up. Let's scale it up to a very high number like 20. Let's also bring it downwards by pressing G and Z and move it down like this, and then come out of the edit mode. Now let's also fix the lighting. So for this, I'll select the first light, press Shift plus D and let's move it in the X axis, and to rotate it towards the donut, press R and Y and rotate it like this. Left click to finalize, and if you want, you can also change the type of light from sun to spotlight or area light, and they will also work in the similar way. For example, if I select the spotlight and increase the power to a higher number like 1000 watt, then we get a lighting like this. Let's also change the color of this light from the color option here. I'll change the color to light pink, and similarly for the second light I'll select it, and for this one also you can change the type of light to spot or area or point, but for now I'll keep it to sunlight. And let's also change the color of this base to a darker color like grey color. So I'll go to the material properties, click on the new button and change the color by reducing the brightness from here. If you want, you can also change the color to dark blue or dark purple or red color or any other color of your choice. For now, I'll be keeping the purple color. Now let's go to the camera view by pressing 0 on the numpad, and to turn on the lock camera to view, either click on this lock button or press N, and here in the view option, you can turn on the lock camera to view. So let's change the view to that position where both the donuts are perfectly placed in the scene. Let's also bring it down, and here I think that it looks perfect, so we'll finalize it. And to finally render it, go to the render option and select render image. And so this is the final rendered image of the donuts that we created with the help of geometry nodes. To save the image, you can click on the image option here, and here you have the option to save the file. And yes, this brings us to the end of this chapter. Our next chapter will be the chapter number 38, geometry nodes creating a meteor apocalypse scene. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel, press that notification bell so that you can get timely updates about the upcoming chapters. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.